Hello everyone, welcome to the Glenara Seniors Festival and the Let's Get Arty event with artist Fiona Wood. My name is Lana, the Healthy Aging Officer here at Council. I'd like to commence today with an acknowledgement to country. Glenara City Council respectfully acknowledges the Boon Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, who have traditional connections to the land now known as Glenara. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge and uphold their continuing relationship to this land. Without further ado, I pass you to Fiona. She is available to take your questions via the chat. Enjoy the event.
Hi everyone, my name's Fiona. I'm a Glen Ira resident and I run a company called Sunnyside Art House that runs children's and adults workshops. I also run a company called Fiona Wood Art where I produce pots and paintings and earrings and lots of art and crafty things as well. So I have the pleasure of presenting to you today a workshop on how to create some of your own gifts and cards. So obviously with Christmas is starting to loom, I know it's a little bit scary, but for some of these things you could make them for Christmas presents, but I've also left it very general so you could make these for Mother's Day gifts or presents or any gifts at any time of year. Now, Melbourne is currently in stage 4 lockdown at the time that I'm recording this, so I was very, very limited on the supplies that I could put together or I could grab in my house to do this. I couldn't go out to the shops to buy things. So I have a very much a recycled element to today's class, and I actually really like that. So most of the things that I'm going to show you today, you can do with things from around the house, or if you don't, they should be very easy to find. And when this tutorial is running, hopefully you might be able to go out to the shops and purchase some things as well. Okay, so I'm going to split this into 4 different parts. So if you don't want to learn how to do every item that I'm showing here, you can fast forward the video to the bit that you want. A list of supplies has already been put up ready for you to access before this tutorial, but I'll also go through them at the start of each segment as well. So just to give you an idea on what we're going to make. So first of all, cards. I have stuck to very, very simple cards. You can obviously do more complex cards. I could have done a very complex tutorial for you today on how to do some painting, but I wasn't really sure how many people would have paints at home. And I know from my experience, like my mother, she does very complex YouTube tutorials on painting, and I know there are a lot out there. So I thought I'd just keep it very simple. So we're going to make a birthday card, and we're going to make a very simple Christmas card. I'm also going to show you how to make this very simple gift. Sewing is all the rage at the moment. Everyone's dragged their sewing machines out from their cupboards to make masks. So I know that even a lot of children that I know have very much got into sewing. So I thought I'd show you a very, very simple recycled mug pincushion. So this could be a great gift for a grandchild who's just got into sewing, or I know that a lot of your friends would also be into sewing, or you might even want to make one of these for yourself. They're very cute. The next gift I'm going to show you is how to make some homemade orange or lavender bath salts. So I have recycled a jar here. I went around my house and I collected up some jars. This is a recycled jar, and the contents in these bath salts, you can get everything at the supermarket. So very simple way to recycle your jars, and everyone loves some bath salts. Great little present to give people. Very simple to make. My final one is upcycling some tin cans. Everyone uses tin cans. We all use tinned goods. And what I've done is that I've painted them, given a spray with some paint, given them some paint job, and these have just got little plastic cups in them, so you can put holes in the bottom, but what I'm doing is I'm actually propagating some plants here at the moment, but you could use them for a vase as well. So they're the 3 gifts that I'm going to do. So feel free to watch the whole tutorial, find out about all of them, or as I said, you're welcome to fast forward a little bit if there's a particular gift or card that you want to get to. Okay, I'll be back with you soon. Hi everyone, okay, so I'm back, and first thing I'm going to show you is how to do your own cards. So we're doing a birthday card and a Christmas card. Very simple, very fast, but very effective too, and people just really appreciate the fact that you've actually made your own cards. It always goes down very well. Okay, so what we would need for this project is that we need obviously a blank card. This silver one here is from a pack that I found in the cupboard, and you can buy these packs at just $2 shops or art and craft, or I think possibly even the supermarket. I only had two left, so we're going to do one as an example, one today. So then because I only had one left, I went looking in my cupboard and I found some brown cardboard. So I've just cut one out in a card shape and folded it in half. So you don't have to have a pre-cut card, you can actually just fold a piece of paper or cardboard. If all you have is A4 paper, you just fold it in half and fold it in half again. For our beautiful birthday card, we are also just using paper straws. Paper straws, again, can be bought at the supermarket, or you can buy them at a lot of the cheap $2 shops, or even party shops. So we've just got paper straws, and we've got a little bit of twine for the little wick. Any twine, you can just draw little shapes of flames in. So that's all you've got, just draw the flames in. Again, I just went through my cupboards and I found a little bit of kitchen twine. Obviously need some scissors. And I'm just going to stick them on with some double-sided tape. Just simple double-sided tape, again, can be bought at a newsagent or at the supermarket. The second card, our Christmas card with our Christmas baubles hanging down. Very, very simple. It's just some stick-on jewels. So again, I had these in the cupboard, but you can buy them from $2 shops. These have actually, you don't even need any glue. They've got a sticky back. You just pull the plastic off and they've got a sticky back on them. I've cut these into little squares. I would have done that for some children's art project, but I think they come on a big plastic sheet. That's all we need for this particular one, and a black pen to draw our lines, which you could draw thicker than I did if you want. Right, so let's start with our birthday candles. I love this card. I think it's very effective, but very, very simple. So we're going to get our blank card, and I'm just going to put a strip of double-sided tape on it. Now, if you don't have double-sided tape, you can just use regular glue. I just love double-sided tape because it's not messy. It's really, really easy, but hey, glue works just as well. So double-sided tape, stick it on where you want, anywhere sort of around the middle of the card, and then you just pull off the other side. So I've got some double-sided tape on that. I'm then just going to do my candle. So we're just going to cut our straws into sort of the shape size that we want, and we're going to just stick them along our card. Now you can see I didn't get mine very even the first time I did it. I don't actually think that matters, but you might want to line them up along the bottom. I'm a bit of a messy artist, so I like to just kind of go with the flow. A bit like that cooking as well. Not very good at measuring things, but you might want to measure all your candles so they are the same size. But I'm just randomly cutting them into a sort of candle thing. Now, the great thing about this card is that you could put as many candles as the person is. Now, obviously, about 80 or something, you're not going to be fitting it on. But if you're making this present for your one of your children or your grandchildren, you can do 3, 5. I think if you put it this way, you could probably fit at least maybe 12 on there. Or get a really big piece of paper and do loads. It's a bit of a joke. You could probably fit 40 on one somehow. So cutting them away and just sticking them on any sort of pattern that you want. So obviously the length of the double-sided tape that I put on this is going to reflect how many candles I'm going to put across. Okay. So there's my candles. I'm now just going to put some little wicks in them. So to glue the wicks on, I'm doing the same thing, getting a little bit of double-sided tape. I'm running it across the top where the string's going to go because we just want them to stay in. Pull that off. Now, homemade cards are gorgeous, and if you're a painter, by all means, please keep your paintings. You can cut them up, you can cut them into circles or triangles if you don't like the painting you've done, or do some beautiful paintings. Like my mum always does homemade cards, and they're always beautiful watercolour paintings that she's done. And the unique thing of them being homemade is just gorgeous. So we're just going to cut our twine or string, if you're using that, into just little pieces, probably they're about 2 centimetres long. Doesn't really matter. And cut as many pieces as you've got candles. So I've got my candles here, and you can't see, but I've got a little bit of sticky double-sided tape on top, and then I just get each of my little lines, stick it in to the candle to the length that we want. And then once you've got it about the length you want, just give it a little tap so that it stays in place on that double-sided tape. Push the next one in, give it a bit of a tap. You could just run a little bit of glue, or you could even dab the bottoms of your wicks into some glue and then stick them into the drawers. I'm just trying to keep this as simple as possible. I love really simple crafts. I've got 2 more to go. Now you could write, and there I have my candles. Now you could write happy, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, happy 7th birthday, make a wish, happy birthday, Daisy, if it's for a particular person. So you can personalize it and do it inside. So there's my very simple how to make a birthday card. Okay, the second one we're going to do is my Christmas baubles one. This one is even simpler. And you can use different size and different shape gems as well. So we're just going to use my folded piece of cardboard. I'm going to stick my gems on. These have already got something sticky on the back, but you might find gems, you could even use buttons. So if you don't have anything that's got sticky backs, just glue them on. So we're just trying to find anything that's kind of bauble shaped. I'm just going to do 3 today, I think. So I've done 3 baubles on, and then I'm just going to draw a line down on each one. So they're hanging. Lines don't need to be dead straight because strings aren't always dead straight when they're hanging. And then I'm just going to put a little bow on either of them. You don't have to do that bit, but I think it actually adds a nice little touch. Okay. And there's my simple Christmas card. Now again, you could write Merry Christmas, wishing you a Merry Christmas, whatever you want on the bottom, you can write on it, or you can just leave it blank on the front and write your messages inside. So there's my 2 very easy Christmas and birthday cards. And next up, I'll show you another do-it-yourself gift. Thanks very much. Hi, okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous little cup pin cushion. I actually think these are really, really, really cute. And if you are a sewer or friend's a sewer or your granddaughter or daughter is a sewer, this is a great little gift. And it's very, very simple. So what you'll need for this is a teacup. I happen to have just had these 2 matching teacups sitting around my house, which I purchased from the op shop, I reckon for $1 each, quite a while ago. And they've just been sitting around. I thought they were quite cute. So you could just find a teacup or even a mug that you don't use very often. Or if the op shops are open, you could even go to the op shop and grab a little pretty one like this. We also need a scrap of material. So I have I'm using pink because I think this is a really pretty pink floral cup and the pink looks very nice with it. But if you've got a more plain mug or cup, then you might want to put a really pretty piece of fabric on top as well. So any fabric is fine. This is honestly, I think it's an old t-shirt or something. It's a scrap of material that I found in the cupboard. So you need a piece of material and it needs to be probably about 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres. This one's not even square. I'm going to cut it a little bit more square, but it doesn't have to be too exact. We also need an elastic band, pretty simple to get, and we need some stuffing to put inside it. Now, you can buy big wads of stuffing from Lincraft and from art and craft stores, but I'll be honest, I have this old IKEA pillow, and this is what I often do with old pillows is I just buy you get an old pillow and I pull the stuffing out of that. So I am recycling my stuffing as well. But to be honest, because it's only a small amount and doesn't have a lot of stuffing in it, you could even use something like cotton ball balls or something. Okay? So We're just going to get our material. Mine's a bit of a scrap, so I'm just going to make it a little bit more squarish. And I don't have the best sewing scissors in front of me right now, I've realised, but that's all right. Okay, so we're going to, as I said, it's kind of, I'd say it's about washcloth size, a washer size. And we're going to get a wad of wadding. It's about as much as you can kind of scrunch in your hand. So we're going to put that inside it. And then we're just going to gather our material up around it. Trying to get it sort of as nice and neat on the top as we can. We're kind of making a mushroom. Okay, and then we're going to put our elastic band around the bottom. And then just test that it fits in your mug. That one's actually pretty perfect. If you have lots and lots of excess material here, you could cut that off to make it a little bit neater. Now you can just leave it like that, push it in, and that could be it. Okay? Or if you have some glue or even a hot glue gun, a good idea is to pull each side a little bit over, put a blob of glue, move it around, pull a little bit to the side, do a blob of glue, and that will just secure the pin cushion bit in place. Okay? But to be honest, I actually think it sits, it's not going to fall out. Oh, sorry, it did fall out, but it doesn't generally fall out too much if you just want to leave it like that as well. Okay? I think that looks quite nice how it is as well. So if you don't have a hot glue gun, not all of you are going to have a hot glue gun at home, or if you do, just want to put even a little few dobs of super glue around there just to stick it in. And then the final thing, I think it's quite nice to give it with a few pins in it. So again, I just bought this pack of pins from the supermarket. It's all that's open at the moment. And I think it looks nice presented if you put a few little pins in the top. This is so, so simple, but it's really effective and I think it's really cute. This could be tailored for Mother's Day. You could put Happy Mother's Day on the mug even. This would be a great craft to possibly even do with a grandchild for Mother's Day present, because you could just use a plain white mug and they could decorate the mug and write Happy Mother's Day, and then you could put pin cushion bit on the top. Lots of different ideas for you there. So there you have my do-it-yourself pin cushion teacup, a great gift for someone. Okay, so now we're back to make our next do-it-yourself gift, which is bath salts. So I absolutely love bath salts, great gift. Hopefully whoever you're going to give it to has a bath. But it's a great, again, gift for all occasions. Birthdays, Mother's Day, Christmas, you can name it. So very easy to make. It's a great way to recycle jars. So I just went through my cupboards again and found some jars that I could use. You can go buy jars, but I quite like the idea that you're just reusing jars that you've got in the cupboard. So I've just gone through and collected. I've got a pasta sauce one here. I think this one had jam in it. This was probably the prettiest ones I could find in my cupboards, which used it as my example. But I also found some just little tiny jars as well. So these little spice jars, and I think they had a marmalade or something in it. So really cute different jars that we can use. The ingredients that we need for this, you can find all of them at the supermarket. So we are going to use Epsom salts, bicarb soda. We are going to use some sort of smell. So for my original ones, I've done orange. I admittedly couldn't find any orange essential oil, or I didn't have any, so I've actually used orange essence, which I happen to have in the cupboard, which you can use as a substitute. Today I'm going to make some lavender ones. So lavender essential oil you can definitely buy at the supermarket. I got this one at the supermarket. And then you can colour it. It's up to you whether you want to colour it or not, but I'm just using a bit of food colouring to give it a bit of a nice colour. But to be honest, you can leave that step out. Now these, you could also Christmas theme these. So bath salts you can do, you could double the recipe or halve the recipe into two different colours. So for Christmas one, you could do red, white and green stripes. So you can fill your jar with different stripes of it. You could use peppermint essence to give it a Christmassy smell, or cinnamon, lots of different things and ways that you could experiment with this do-it-yourself gift. Okay, so I've given you the recipe with the ingredients, but it's very, very simple and you should be able to remember it. It is 1 cup of Epsom salts to 1 tablespoon of bicarbonate, and then we just add our food colouring and our milk. So I'm going to add my 1 cup of Epsom salts into my jar. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact. So I'm actually just using a measuring cup to measure and to mix in, just to save materials. I'm then going to put my tablespoon of bicarb soda in. Give that a bit of a stir. Then going to put my smell in, so I'm going to use some lavender oil today. I absolutely love lavender oil. It's up to you how many drops you want to put in as to how strong you want them to smell, but I'm going to put in 6 drops. So put some in, give it a little bit of a stir. Give it a bit of a smell, see if it's strong enough. Yep, I think that's strong enough. Now you could leave it like that, or you can put a tiny little bit of food colouring in. Now you normally would have tiny little droppers. I've got huge containers because I use them for my art classes. And even though lavender is purple, I have to say I think I might leave this as blue because I'm really liking this blue colour. And now you don't want to put too much food colouring in as well because it may stain the bath. I actually use homemade bath bombs and homemade bath salts in our bath all the time, and I've never had that problem. And we've got quite a new acrylic bath, but you've still got to be aware of that. So if you're going to use food colouring, don't make it really, really dark, okay? Just make it nice and light. Kind of a pastel-y colour is really good for bath products. So there's not huge amounts of colouring in it, so it gets really diluted. So we just make sure it's all mixed up, and then we just transfer it to whatever jar we're going to use. Now the amount that I have given you here actually filled pretty much this medium-sized jar, and I'm sorry about the sun, it's very sunny today and it's coming in and out non-stop from behind those clouds. So the amount I've given you, the 1 cup of Epsom salts to 1 tablespoon of bicarb, filled this jar and I had a tiny bit left over. Okay, so use double the recipe, halve the recipe. Do whatever you need to do to get the amount that you have for the size jar that you've got. I'm actually just going to fill, I think, these little cute jars today. And I'm probably going to have some left over, which is great because I can use it in my bath tonight. Now you could use a little funnel. I just like to spoon it in, holding it over the container. Put it in. Put it up. So we could put some little labels on the top, like this one I've got here. So this is one of a preserving jar, so it has separate bits in it. So this was quite easy to put a label in it because I just traced around this lid with a piece of orange paper. Then I can put that on, put my orange paper on, and then put the lid over the top. But if you don't have one of these jars, you can just do a little tiny label that hangs off the side. If you've got a jar lid that's a little bit ugly, like this Barilla one, I would possibly print it out and glue it on the top. Or you could even do what you do with jams and preserves by putting a nice piece of material on the top. Now the last little touch I'm going to do is I've got a little bit of purple embroidery thread. Just need to find a pair of scissors. And I'm just going to tie that around. You don't need to do this. This is just a final little touch I like to do. If you have very pretty ribbon around the house, or even just jute twine looks quite nice, you can tie whatever you want around it. That one I've just done a little bit of purple ribbon. Okay, so there you have, that's my homemade orange and my homemade lavender bath salts. Perfect gift. Hi, okay, we're on to our final do-it-yourself gift for today, which is some beautiful tin can planters. I'm going to call them planters, but I'm actually going to have them as pretty versatile. So what I've done with these, if I put little plastic cups in them, so that means I'm propagating some plants in mine at the moment, but you could also use it as a vase. So I've just gone and collected some beautiful wattle from my garden. And if you wanted to put a plant in it though, you could just drill some holes into the bottom of your tin can. You would need to put a saucer under it, or you'd need to put it outside. But these would look great, a whole load of these outside with like succulents or herbs in them. You can also use different size tin cans. I love the idea of big like Milo or coffee tins, which are about twice the size of these. They would be great planters. Unfortunately, I didn't have any in the house. We tend to take quite a while to go through one of those big tins of something, but you could certainly use any of these. But these are just standard vegetable tins, and we go through a lot of these. So all you need to do is collect your tins. So you're going to use them and wash them out. And then we're going to spray them. And I'll get to that in a moment. I've also put a little terracotta pot on the table because that is another really lovely do-it-yourself gift. I couldn't get any plain terracotta pots at the moment. Bunnings is closed, but I do myself, as you can see from behind me, I do actually love painting pots, and I do paint quite a lot of terracotta pots. So I wanted to put that out there as an idea of a beautiful do-it-yourself gift, is to paint a terracotta pot for someone. Now, it doesn't have to be such a complex design of what I've done here. I'm going to show you just a very quick tape resist. So that means you don't need to have a steady hand. That way of actually patterning on a pot or on a tin. And the difference between the pots and the tins I'll explain in a moment as well. Now you should have a materials list, but I'll go over that quickly again. So obviously we need tin cans of any sort, washed and dried. We need something to prime our tin cans with. So I used this. It looks a little bit dirty, I'm sorry, because I had it in the cupboard. But this is a Squirt's paint and prime, and it bonds to wood, plastic, metal and more. Okay, so what I did is I got my tin cans and I sprayed them white first. Okay, so I suggest you do that just to prime it before you paint it. If you were doing a terracotta pot, I would prime it first as well. So you could probably use that. I've never tried it. What I use on my terracotta pots is that I use just a prep 4-in-1. This is just, again, you might have some of this around the house, and I paint them white before I paint them as well. So that's really the only difference. The other materials we'll need is some sort of acrylic paint. So have a look through your supplies. You might need to go buy some. Acrylic paints are actually quite easily bought from $2 shops and any art and craft shops. So just a couple of acrylic paints. You obviously need a paintbrush, a water pot. And if you want to do some taping on it, just some sort of low tact masking tape. This green tape's the cheapest one you can buy at Bunnings, or there's blue painter's tape as well. So just some sort of tape. To be honest, if you can't get any of them, I'm sure sticky tape would be fine as well. Very much for just using what you can find. Okay, so the cans I painted up is I did one with the tape. I did one with just dots because I absolutely love painting dots. You see my artwork. And then I just quite a simple one with stripes, which again is similar to using the paint. This striped effect would look really good on a bigger pot or on a really big coffee can. It's quite difficult, obviously, with these tin cans, and they're quite thin. So you can't do the tape in those thin lines. So I hand painted that, but you could certainly get that effect on something bigger with the tape. Now you can draw any design you want on your can. I did have a little go at doing a little floral theme. This can I sprayed gold rather than white. It looks actually it's kind of natural colour, but I did actually spray it gold. Another striped one I've got here on a gold tin. But you could do any design. If you're a really good painter, this is an opportunity to maybe paint something up. And tin cans are obviously cheaper than terracotta pots. That said, this size terracotta pot, you can often get them at Bunnings for $1 each. So that might be an alternative if you can get your hands on them. Right, so I'm going to paint up this particular white one. I'm just showing you how it's got the little plastic cup in it. So these plastic cups are just standard plastic cups from the supermarket. They fit absolutely perfectly in the top of a tin can. You can put it in because then if you've got the sharp edge, you're not going to cut your fingers on that sharp edge. So you could always just have one of these as an insert and put some holes in the bottom of that as well. And that could be your drainage. Or as I said, they make great vases or propagation ones as well. I grow a lot of my plants just in water these days, so that's something you can do as well. All these devil's ivies plants grow just in water. Okay, so we'll pop this one in this. And we're going to paint up this white tin. So I've got my paints. One other thing that if you're painting, just a plastic lid is good for a paint palette. And I'm going to do on this one, I thought I might just do a really simple rainbow. Rainbows are really, really in at the moment. It's a symbol of hope and for good things to look forward to. And I think that's what we all need at the moment. So I'm just going to put a little blob of some colours on my palette. And I'm just going to paint up for you a really quick little rainbow. Now, the other thing I was talking about was doing the taped resist. So I'll just quickly show you that as well before I do mine. I'm not going to do it on this particular tin, because it's not really quite big enough, but a great way to get a pattern like this or on a pot, honestly, if you've got a really unsteady hand, is just use tape. So use tape to mask off areas. So obviously where the tape is, it's going to stay the colour underneath. Yeah, so I'm going to get white stripes on this. So this one could be a really simple stripes. So I can leave that stripe white, that one white, and then I could do 3 different colours. Really, really simple way of painting it. Paint it, let it dry, pull your tape off. This one here, I've done my tape in different directions. So I've done some stripes like this all the way around, and then that's given me that crossing. So this is just a really simple way. If you don't want to do anything too intricate and too detailed, this looks great on really, really big terracotta pots as well, okay? So it's just giving you beautiful crisscross patterns, just remembering wherever the tape is will stay the colour that's underneath, and then just painting each of these sections. Okay? But for this one, just so I can have it finished for you in this and not have to wait for the tape to dry, I'm just going to do a quick little rainbow because that's very much the sort of in thing at the moment. And I'm using similar colours to what I have here because I really like pastel colours. So sometimes when you're painting on cans, you might need to paint a couple layers as well. So done one layer, but if that yellow doesn't look dark enough to me when it's dry, I might find that I'm going to do another layer. Now you can do the base colour of these any colour you want as well. So you could have spray painted that. These came in all colours. This one's just white, but you could get any paint and prime tin can of something and spray them all pink. It could be any background colour. Okay? As long as it's a paint and prime, that is okay to go on metal. So just check that on the directions. Now, I would probably not paint quite as quickly as this. And if I was really being careful, I probably wouldn't want my colours to blend, and I'd let one colour dry before I do the next one. That's okay. Okay, so I'm getting a nice little rainbow happening there. Do you know what? With art these days, perfection is not always aimed for. So if your rainbow ends up a little bit wonky, it actually kind of adds to it. It adds to the homemade nature. That's what people want to see in these do-it-yourself gifts as well, is they want to see that it's homemade and it's been done by you. And if it's too perfect, they might think you got it from a shop. So don't feel it has to be perfect. It's just got to be cute, nice colours. This rainbows, they don't have to be always in rainbow colours. You could paint the rainbow in colours, whatever colours that person likes. Their house might be in greens and blues. So they might do a greens and blues rainbow. So I've just done a really simple rainbow on that one. And that would look really lovely as a vase. My wattle. Now, once your paint has dried, it's probably good to give it a little bit of a seal. You don't have to. I actually haven't sealed these ones, so don't feel that you need to always do these steps. Obviously, things last longer if you put a sealer on them, but it's not totally necessary. These are obviously great little gifts that you could even get some cuttings from your garden or some herbs and place those in them and give them to them actually as a tin with a plant in it. I seal my pots. You can use a terracotta sealer first, or I'm just using at the moment a permanent clear gloss finish from Micador. So you could probably give that a little good spray on your cans as well. I've just left them blank, I don't mind them that, but I do always use this on my pots and it gives them a sort of nice glossy look. And so that is the do-it-yourself tin can planters. I would love to see any designs or pictures that you do. So if anyone makes any of my do-it-yourself gifts, please feel free to post pictures on the Glen Ira page somewhere or send them to me at sunnysidearthouse@gmail.com. I hope you have enjoyed my tutorials. It was absolutely a pleasure bringing them to you. So hopefully we'll see lots of beautiful do-it-yourself gifts out there, and also all from recycled materials and things from the house. Thanks very much. See you later.